Welcome to the City Rooster Forum. I'm Kenny the Rooster, and today's key phrase is capitalistic law-abiding citizens. It's important to understand what makes capitalistic law-abiding citizens, because as simple as it seems and as something that everybody should know, unfortunately, it hasn't been discussed for years, decades. A lot of times, people don't even understand it anymore. They don't understand capitalism. They don't understand law-abiding. People that go to jail are law-abiding citizens. People that are capitalistic are the targets of the law. Mainly from the Biden administration, the Trump administration has turned that around a bit, which is what's making the left so angry. And the left doesn't have to be a particular party. Anywho, capitalism is the foundation of the classic bottom line, which a lot of people misunderstand. A lot of people think that the bottom line is money. No. The bottom line is not money. The bottom line is the exchange of goods and services and money. These are three parts to it, and they're all very important. The purpose of money is to vouch for the accomplishment of exchange of goods and services. That's why we have receipts in the first place. There's no receipts for fraud. There's no receipts for scams. The only thing people sign their names to are things that will protect them in a court of law if somebody were to complain about it, which is why many criminal lawyers are useless to our cause, because they're only trying to override the Constitution or use the Constitution to the criminal advantage. And people need to understand the Constitution. They need to understand what's constitutional. Now, a lot of people think that the tax the rich movement is smart. It's not. The only people that support the tax the rich movement are either people that are very crooked or very dumb. Because first of all, taxing sales tax, as we know, and property tax and income tax are all unconstitutional. They're all unconstitutional. Okay, they were progressive people that found their way into office in Congress that started to establish, trying to pass laws and get a progressive president to sign for it. And so now, even though it's law to pay taxes and you can go to jail for not paying taxes, it's against the Constitution and it's wrong. That's why they say what's morally wrong is not what's legally wrong, and vice versa. We shouldn't be paying tax. But 40% or more of all the tax is paid for by the rich. Now, a lot of those people who are trying to encourage this are progressives that have a lot of money that they're going to be able to keep. Like, for example, Andrea Ocasio-Cortez. She says tax the rich. And she has a lot of money. So if you were to follow that premise, she would be one of the people you tax, but you never tax her. It's a trick, though. It's a trick that the left uses to try to encourage people to do away with capitalism. Capitalism was the best thing that we've ever had. The open market for the public. Access to the open market for the public. So everybody has an opportunity to make money. Everybody has an incentive to make more money. And everybody has the opportunity to do it by earning their money, by working for it. That's the whole purpose of capitalism. A lot of people are lazy, and lazy people and greedy people that egg them on are people that think that if they're lazy all their lives, that they won't have anything. They won't need anything. Somebody else will do it for them. That's their thinking. Now, a lot of people, smart people, know that socialism and communism don't work. They failed many times. Capitalism works, and capitalism is shown to work because capitalism created industry. Capitalism created written history. Capitalism created lots of inventions. And not only by white people, but by many people of many different cultures and many different races in different countries. The Japanese are a model for capitalism. And they're not white, they're Japanese. They have another language, another country, another culture. They have very tough standards towards their immigration policies, which is why they don't have the problems that we do. We have people coming over here thinking that they're going to get everything for free. And somebody else is going to pay for it. And that's what the left wants. And that's why there's all these social programs. That's why there's welfare. So now many Americans are screwed up. Many Americans are screwed up. 400 pounds at the age of 25. Imagine being 25 years old and weighing 400 pounds. And you think you've got it made. You got to be kidding. Many of those people are not going to live a long time, but they found a part of the system where they believe people are going to pay for them. But when they get really, really sick and they can't do anything about it because they have done so much damage to their body, they're going to regret it. They're also going to regret that they never worked for anything. We've had veterans that earned the money they got, and we overused them. We don't want war, but we were grateful for the ones that fought the wars to get our capitalistic society. And it was run into the ground. So now, when they're being used to fight a war to protect the United States, there's backlash. Backlash because a lot of people are too busy thinking about the wars that were useless. I, for one, hope this war in Iraq ends. But it was started for a good reason, to protect us, because we're doing it against a country that wanted to start World War III, that was screaming death to America, and that had nuclear weapons. And they're a very dangerous country because they're not very smart people, and they have very dangerous weapons. Or at least they did. Hopefully it'll end soon. And hopefully people will understand it and give the current leadership that we have more support. He needs the support. All the people that don't support our current leadership don't understand money. They don't understand anything. They don't understand history. They never learned to read or write. Many of them never even learned math properly. So they'll say math is racist. 2 + 2 is 4. Oh, that's a racist thing to say. That's what they'll say. And it's ridiculous. So now, when we do all these things to try to get our country together, we get resistance from the left. We get backlash. Unfortunately, it's not always from one party. It's from both parties. There are people in the Republican Party that support the Democratic Party. We call them rhinos. But the whole thing about it is they're not patriotic. And they don't support capitalism. They don't support any of the things we need to do that made our country successful and keep our country successful. We need to get our country back to the capitalistic ways, and we need to get it back to the law and order. We need it back to the point where people don't kill people anymore needlessly. The left is still in charge of our courts and are letting a lot of criminals out. People think that they're letting the criminals out because oh, they need their freedom, or their constitutional rights are being violated, or all that double talk. The only reason they're letting them out of court is so they can kill more American citizens. And eventually, so many of our American citizens will be killed by all of these people that were let out of jail or not even incarcerated. The whole idea of putting them in jail is to protect American citizens. People who believe in capitalism. We have people that came to this country and went through the system because they understood capitalism and they were going to do it the right way. People who came here illegally and went through against the law to do it have no intention. There are very few people that would come here illegally and follow the law outside of that. That doesn't happen. The whole idea of the original immigrant system was so that people could learn to become an American citizen, to assimilate with America. But that's not what's happening. And once we lose capitalism, it's very, 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 very hard to get it back. Because it took thousands of years to attain this method of living together. Socialists, all the people that support socialism, that are taking bribes or fraudulently doing all this and that, they think that they're going to have a lot of power when the U.S. goes under. They're not going to have a lot of power. They're going to be somebody else's servant or somebody else's slave to somebody like China or Russia. They don't know. They could be living the lives we live if the U.S. goes under. That's why it's very, very important to not only save the country, but save the capitalism that made it great. Thank you for supporting the City Rooster Forum. Like, share, and subscribe anytime you want. And your comments are welcome and will be read on the air.